Hi everybody, it's Mr. Liu. This is page 132. Fill in the missing numbers. Alright, so here we have another multiplication problem. We have 4 times 242. Again, our first step, multiply the ones. 2 times 4. So let's write that. 4 times 2. We know 4 times 2 equals 8. Now let's write that down. 4 times 2 equals 8. Next step is our tens. 4 times 4. So let's write that in, and we know 4 times 4 equals 16. Alright, but we can't write 16 the way it is. We have to make sure we write 16 and we regroup 6 in our tens and 1 in our hundreds. So over here we have 16 tens, and we wrote the 1 in the hundreds and our 6 in the tens, and we regroup that. Alright, and the last step, 4 times 2. We know 4 times 2 is 8, but we have to add that 1 more on top. So 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 more is 9. And that's our hundreds. So 4 times 200 equals our 800s. And again, we have to add that 1 more in. So 800 plus that 1 more we had before equals our 900, and we get our final answer, 968. So our final answer is 968. Okay, let's move on to the next problem. 5 times 145. Again, start with our ones. 5 times 5. So let's start with our ones. 5 times 5, and we know 5 times 5, we count our 5s, is 25. Okay, so when we write 25, it's 5 in our ones, 2 in our tens. So we're grouping that 25 ones, which means it's the 5 in our ones and our 2 in the tens, or the 2 tens and 5 ones. Next, let's multiply our tens. 4 tens times 5, or 4 times 5 equals 20, but we cannot forget about this 2. So 4 times 5 equals 20, plus 2 more equals 22. Let's write that first. So again, we have 5 times 4, or 4 times 5, and that equals our 20, but we cannot forget about the 2 up top, so we have to add that 2. So our 20 tens, because it's in our tens column, plus our 2 tens, and that gives us our 22. And we can't write 22 in here, so again, 22 is written with 2 in the tens column and 2 in the hundreds column, 22 tens. Alright, so we regroup that with 2 in the hundreds column and 2 in the tens column. Alright, and then our last step over here is to multiply our hundreds. 5 times 1 is 5, but again, we can't forget about the 2 up top, so we have to add that together. So 5 times 1 is 5, plus 2 more is 7. 5, 6, 7. And let's write that in here. So the first one we do is 5 times 1 equals 5. And we can't forget to add the 2 up top. So 5 plus our 2 equals 7. And we get our final answer, 725. So 5 times 145 is 725. Okay? And let's do this one last page, 134. So our next problem, 5 times 159, let's write it vertically. And let's multiply our ones column, 9 times 5. So the first thing is 9 times 5, or 5 times 9. And for counting our 5s, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, you know the answer is 45. And in order for us to write 45, we have to write 5 in the ones and 4 in the tens. So what we did was we grouped 45 with 4 in the tens up there and 5 in the ones down here. Okay, next step, 5 times 5. We know 5 times 5. Alright, so we're going to multiply 5 times 5, and we know that is 25. But we cannot forget about this 4 over here, so we have to add that in. 5 times 5 is 25 plus 4 more, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. So we know the answer is 29. Put 9 in our tens and 2 in our ones. Okay, let's fill in the blank over here. So we did our 25 plus the 4 that we did from before, and that gave us 29. Now, we have to write 29 a little bit differently. 29 is 2 in the hundreds column and 9 tenths. Okay, and our final step, 1 times 5. Okay, our final step is to multiply that 1 times 5, which we know is 5. But we cannot forget about the 2 up top. So 1 times 5 is 5, plus our 2 more is 7. 5, 6, 7. Let's write that down here. So we had our 5 from 1 times 500, plus our 200s from before. Oops. And that gave us 700. Okay, so our final answer is 795. So 5 times 159 is 795. Okay, and that's page 134.